All right. Welcome to another edition of Real Talk Rhody. We're gonna get a little spooky with a local author, but spooky but fun, we'll say. Vanessa Lillie has lived in Providence since 2011. A little bit of a Rhode Island transplant. We're gonna get into all of that and so much more. But Vanessa, thank you so much for coming in.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Becca.
Well, it's not often I get to talk to an actual author, right? So many of us always think, and you must hear this all the time. I think I could write a book. I think I could do this. I think, and it's great to think, but you actually did. So I kind of want to hear, not only are you a Rhode Island resident, and we're going to talk about how you got here, but I need to know how you ended up just saying, I'm just going to start writing.
So I do think anyone can write a book. I think that it's something creativity, it's in us. It's in us, but it is really hard. And the big turning point. So by the time my debut was published, it's called Little Voices. It's all set in Providence. By the time that was published, I've been trying to be published for 13 years.
Wow. Okay. So this is quite the journey.
Yes. There's that saying it takes 10,000 hours to get good at something. I maybe took 15,000, but but I got there.
You did.
Yes, but a big turning point for me actually was it's a national novel writing month where you try to write a whole book, not well, in a month. So you just commit. So that's my advice is like, don't get in your head about, oh, this isn't good yet. Oh, it's not as good as a book I've read, which of course it isn't. That book you read on a shelf has been edited 50 times. Just like sit down and go for it. And so when I told myself, we're not going to overanalyze, we're just going to go for it, that's when something clicked. And I just wrote 70,000 not great words. I edited it for a year. I put it in a place I was fascinated by, which is Rhode Island, because I just moved here. I had a son, and I wrote some of the dark side of motherhood issues that I was really grappling with. So also putting in things that you're really thinking about, I think can be that story engine. But I think anybody can write a book. It's really just the time and I guess enthusiasm to keep going.
Did you feel it so therapeutic to be able to get those thoughts on paper in a way?
I think that's why I write. I think I'm trying to understand things and figure things out, and writing, especially when I was a new mom, it was really hard for me. Newborns he was the cutest thing ever, but
they're cute.
They're so cute, but I didn't sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, all I did was walk up and down Blackstone Boulevard with him, baby wearing.
Yeah.
Losing my mind slowly, which is great fodder for a thriller.
You know what? It truly is. I probably saw you walking up and down Blackstone Boulevard one of those days.
Yes. If it was 2015, you did.
Yeah.
Because that's all I did. I walked up and down Blackstone, and then I would do a loop into Swan Point, which is actually where the murder in my book is set, because I was like walking around just getting ideas for a book that would eventually be the book that I would sell. But I really credit being an out of my head new mom and Rhode Island for the reason why I was published.
Great reasons. Now, again, we started this by saying you're not a native Rhode Islander.
Yes.
You're from Oklahoma.
Yes.
And it was your husband's job that took you all here.
Yeah. So I left Oklahoma like at 18 for college, lived in Kansas City, which is a really cool place to go to college, and then moved to Washington, D.C. And I was there about 9 years. The boyfriend I had in college, I ended up marrying him. He moved to D.C. for a while. And then the law firm he worked for was based in Rhode Island. And when we moved here, I'd been to Rhode Island once in December. I had no idea what I was getting into.
Of course.
But we were kind of up for the adventure.
Yeah.
And I remember when we moved here, it was in the fall. And that first weekend, we went to Newport.
Oh, so you started big.
We did. And we were like driving around. I mean, I'm from a little tiny town in Oklahoma. I mean, I guess in DC, you see cool stuff. But
sure.
I was like, what is this place? The smallest state.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, okay, even if I don't like Providence, which I did, but at the time I didn't know, I mean, I can just come to Newport on the weekends because this is incredible.
Yes, you can.
And it was awesome. And so I have a whole tour when people come, because no one I knew in my life had ever been to Rhode Island when we moved here, right? So everyone was like, you moved where? Oh, we're going to come visit, right?
Why not?
Why not? And so I have a whole Newport tour because, it's an incredible place to go historically, as well as like these mansions. Everyone's so into the Gilded Age HBO show.
Love
now,
Gilded Age.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's so fun to bring people here, and they're like, wow, this is a really cool state. I'm like, it really is.
So you have people that come away like, oh, Vanessa, you were right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no, I'm constantly trying to convince people to move here because I'm telling you, it's the best place to live.
Stop it.
I know.
Because we have so much traffic as it is.
That's so true. They won't move to the East Bay. They're going to be, I don't know, somewhere else. They're not going to be that way.
You know, just to be candid, Vanessa and I were having a conversation about just how much work it is to kind of do all the social media stuff. And we were talking about TikTok. And I saw a few TikToks about Rhode Islanders who are so fed up with how much Newport especially has taken off, and how all of their little holes in the wall places and all the places they only knew about, like their places, are now being blown up and everybody's going to it and they are not happy about it. So it's kind of funny, but you're a great ambassador for Rhode Island. Now, does every book take place in Rhode Island?
So the only one that is more Oklahoma is Blood Sisters, which that's the first book in a series. I have another book in that series coming out on Tuesday. So Blood Sisters, but it opens and closes in Rhode Island. And then the others are 100% in Rhode Island. My first one was East Side, Newport, Jamestown. The second one is called For the Best. That's basically all East Side. The murder happens behind Hope Street Pizza for local East Siders. Like, because I love truth and fiction, which includes real places. Like, you can draw a map with my books. I'm pretty serious about including real streets, real places, Swan Point, all of that is in there. I think it's so fun as a reader to be like, I know where that is.
That is so fun. Even when I was listening to the Crime Town podcast, I was like, oh, I can go to all these different places. So
it's real.
It's a very common theme. And forget the Newport tour. Just go on the Vanessa Lillie book tour.
Like, I've forced a few friends to do that. I'm like, get in the Subaru. We're doing my books.
We are doing the books. Okay. So you mentioned the new book, which is out on October 28th.
Yes.
So it's coming up. How do you feel before a book launch? I imagine, I just say this because she's a part-time Rhode Island resident, and because I work at 92 Pro FM, she's on our brain a lot. We've mentioned her on Real Talk Rhody a lot. I imagine it's similar to how Taylor Swift feels before dropping, The Life of a Showgirl, before a book comes out. What are the feelings you get days before launch day?
Mostly it's excitement because there's literally nothing I can do. It is all out of my hands. I mostly am a gremlin. I'm like in my pajamas. I'm writing. I'm with my dog. I've like 15 cups of coffee and soda water everywhere.
And we can't feed you after midnight?
That's really, you don't want to. It's ugly. It gets really ugly. So book tour Vanessa is really different. I like put on clean clothes I haven't worn in a year plus.
All right.
I find my makeup and then I think about, okay, you sat down and you spent, for The Bone Thief that's coming out, I spent 2.5 years writing it. So you spent all this time writing it. What do you want to talk about with people? So it's actually a fun exercise of leaving my creative space and having conversations with people and getting to just go hang out in bookstores, which is the most fun.
Are those your happy places?
The happiest of places. I love bookstore people. Like, the people who work there are amazing. I also love hand selling, which is where you just talk to people and figure out what they want to buy. Like, it doesn't have to be my book. I just love asking, like, what's the last book that you loved that you read? And then we walk around together and we talk about books they could buy. Like, it's like I'm a bookseller. I do that a lot in bookstores because I'm nosy and I like talking about books.
I'm nosy too. That's why I have this podcast.
Yes.
So I do the same thing about TV shows with people. I'm like, what's the last TV show you watched? What was the last TV show you watched?
I've really got.
What are you watching right now?
I'm working through Interview with a Vampire.
Wow. It's like the TV version.
Yes. Oh my God. So I'm a huge Anne Rice fan. I mean, I write thrillers. And what they've done, so the OG movie is great, right? It's Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt. I mean, it's cool. But what they've done with this new TV show, first of all, they spent some money on it, so it like looks good.
Looks expensive.
It looks, which you know what I'm saying. Like, when you see a new show and you're like, all right, the budget was low. This is not. This is gorgeous. But they took all the things we love about Interview with the Vampire. I mean, everyone's like sexy and like it's bloody and cool. But they put some like authentic like Creole background and culture in the characters, and then also they almost made it more where it's connected to that movie. And so the sort of premise is that Christian Slater character, if anyone's seen the movie, he's older now and he's going back to revisit the story. And it's very sexy, very sumptuous. And I'm having a blast. And the new season's going to come out. And Lestat, if you've read the books, is like a rock star, which is so bonkers, but it's very Anne Rice. And so he's just like shirtless and singing, I think, the entire season, which many listeners may enjoy. I'm just saying. Like, TikTok has been blowing up with montages of him just looking sexy and singing. It's going to be fun. So I'm obsessed with that right now.
And so you just sold it for me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to put that on my list. All right. I want to get back to the Bone Thief. So tell us, you say it's in time for spooky season, but also for an important month for you.
Yeah. So Native American Heritage Month is November. I am Cherokee from Oklahoma. My family was originally from Tennessee, and then they were on the Trail of Tears, and we relocated to land in northeastern Oklahoma. That's been in our family for generations. And so just sort of being raised Cherokee, I have not only an awareness of the different issues within the places I live, but when I moved to Rhode Island in particular, I was pretty lucky because I connected with the Narragansett tribe here because they have so many amazing community events. Their annual August meeting and powwow is like a must do for me every year. They also really into schools and classrooms. Like they've come and spoke to my son's school. It's really amazing, the community outreach. So with the Bone Thief, I knew I've got a character. She's an archaeologist for the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and she's living in Rhode Island, and she's called to basically a rich kid camp because some remains have been found tied to the Great Swamp Massacre, which some listeners may know what that is, being especially if you're from Rhode Island, but some people don't.
Yeah, I don't think I know what that is.
That's a really normal thing, that is the bloodiest battle on Rhode Island soil that's ever taken place.
Where was it?
So South County, and there's a little bit of a landmark. It's pretty close to URI, actually.
Okay.
And basically, it was during what's called King Philip's War, but the Narragansett tribe in that war for a long time were not involved. And the colonists started to get worried that they would get involved. And so they attacked the Narragansett at what was called their winter fort, which is really just a village. And it was mostly women and children and elderly who were attacked. And so that was such a turning point for the Narragansett tribe. And that was around 1675. That from there, the people who were captured were put into indentured servitude or even enslaved. Or they kind of had to hide and scatter. So for me as a Cherokee woman, that feels similar to like the Trail of Tears, even though that was well over 100 years later. And so as a writer, that's really interesting to think about historical parallels. But then there's other ones too that I incorporated into the Bone Thief because it's a contemporary thriller, right? But I love truth and fiction. So I'm like thinking about the history of a place like the Great Swamp Massacre. But then you look at something like the Smoke Shop Raid, which that was 2005.
Yeah, I was going to say that was in the last 20 years.
That's right. So that was 2005. And in that case, it was the state troopers kind of violently raiding what really should have been like a ticket, like a $75 ticket for selling cigarettes without tax. But to me as a writer, that felt similar, like an echo, right, of the government coming in and trying to stop or take. And so as an Indigenous author and writer, I'm always looking for those kinds of parallels. And so in the Bone Thief, there's remains that are stolen tied to the Great Swamp Massacre. There's a missing Narragansett teenager. And then I created a secret society that's kind of connected to all of them. So it's like a fun read, but hopefully, especially if people sometimes for their book reading, they like, it's Native American Heritage Month, what should I read? I think it's a good pick for people here, especially because I did try to include real history of Rhode Island because as a reader, I just love that experience.
Yeah, it's local, it's impactful.
Yeah, and you might get kind of curious too. There's some, I've got like recommended books in the back that have more of the real like historical text that could lead you to discover more about kind of even before the colonists were here. It's really interesting what was happening in Rhode Island. And all of the kind of pre-colonial places. And I think people are, getting curious. A lot of us realize we didn't learn a lot of this in school.
No, absolutely not. And I feel like especially around here, we probably should have, because look at the name, coming from like, this is a little bit more surface level for me, but look at the road we're on now. We're on Wampanoag Trail.
I thought of that. Yes.
I mean, there's so many things that are named for tribes around here, right?
Yep.
And I think that we should do ourselves a little bit more of a service and look into some of this stuff.
Yeah. But the problem is that I understand why you don't know because it's not taught in schools. And for a long time, there weren't a lot of books about it. It was really just, you had to be like pretty proactive or know someone within the tribal community to know about it. So I think it's only within the past few years, people are really talking about this kind of history. And also I think it's cool that it's in a thriller because that's like a fun way to engage with history, right? You don't just have to read, a nonfiction book. You can also engage with it with like a page turner. And that's why it's so exciting that there are more Indigenous voices now, because like I have a good friend, Danica Nava. She's Chickasaw and she writes romances, right? So it's like you can engage with Indigenous kind of themes, but really the point of the book is romance, just like the point of The Bone Thief is like a thriller and to be like a little bit scared. So for me, I think it's cool that we're finally having these voices in genre spaces.
How do you come up with the title of a book?
Oh, so The Bone Thief was a very hard title to come up with. The one before it, Blood Sisters, that was the title all the way through. The Bone Thief, me and my editor were going back and forth, and she like sent me an email. She's like, I have to walk down and tell them the title of this book in like 10 minutes. We have to decide. And she had this long list going, and I was sort of looking, and I think it was maybe just Bone Thief. And I said, The Bone Thief. And she's like, I love it. So we just went with it. And I'm so happy with it. But sometimes they're easy and sometimes they're hard.
I can only imagine. I mean, even around here, sometimes when we try to come up with names of things, like I refuse to ask Chat GPT. I do that all the time. Because I want to start like just continue to try to think for myself. Yeah. But sometimes chat is so clever that you almost can't help it. So I can imagine how hard that must be coming up with like a title. But once I feel like you and your editor got there and it clicked, you were like, yes.
Yeah, that was a big relief. And actually with so I have another series very inspired by Crime Town. Actually, you mentioned that podcast.
I love Crime Town.
And that was another title that came to me out of the blue, which was Young Rich Widows. That one hit. I was like, that's it. But then all the other titles, there's 2 others in the series, have been so hard to come up with. So sometimes it's easy and then sometimes it's hard.
Do you ever write, again, this is Real Talk Rhody, so forgive me for these sort of like pedestrian questions, but are you ever writing, picturing actors and actresses acting some of these scenes out?
Oh, sure. I feel like every writer's a little different. I do feel like I'm watching a movie. And then I just am transcribing like to the best of my abilities what's happening and how to capture it visually. And sometimes I'll have different actresses. There's an actress, Jessica Madden, who is in Dark Winds. I kind of picture her as like a Sid, or Amber Midthunder, who was in Prey. She's awesome. Like that's kind of the vibe. So sometimes I'll picture them, especially if I feel like I have to describe the character, which is I think it's hard to describe people.
It is.
They're blurry a lot while I'm writing. And then I'm like, wait, they need to know what they look like. Like, how long is their hair? What color is it? So I'll sometimes use like an actor and actress to kind of help me
as like inspo,
totally.
In a way.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good procrastination for research too. I don't feel like
and
writing.
Then you get sidetracked and you're like, oh no, now I'm down the rabbit hole of who so-and-so played in that one episode of Law and Order or Grey's Anatomy.
Yes. Pinterest, I'm gone.
Same. Now you mentioned Young Rich Widows.
Oh yeah. So this is like Real Housewives vibes. It was a pandemic project that I wanted to just be campy and fun. I write it with 3 other authors. I write an Italian American character from The Hill. Her name is Crystal.
Oh, I know a couple Crystals. She's Italian from The Hill.
I don't mean to brag, but she's a fan favorite. She's real brassy. I picture her like a 1980s, early 90s Bette Midler.
Okay.
The hair.
Yes. I'm getting the vibes.
Yeah. I mean, I love Marissa Tomei as well, right? I love her attitude. So there's a little of that energy, but like visually, I need the hair. I need the curves. I need the big chest that she shoves at people.
Shoulder pads.
Yeah. Oh, so big. And the fashion, oh my gosh, 80s fashion. I mean, I was born in 81. So it was so fun, especially with the 3 other co-authors. We were just constantly DMing each other clothes. That's how we wrote this book, basically, because it's so fun. So these were, 4 women thrown together after their significant others blow up in a plane crash. And
wow. And plot twist.
Yeah. And so that's
widows.
Yes. They're all widows. And and suddenly, and their significant others were all partners at a law firm. And so they take over the law firm, and then the mob and maybe others are after them. And so Crime Town was such an inspiration for me. Writing an Italian American character, like listening to the voices was really important. And just like the energy of that, and then I spoke to a lot of people who a couple who grew up on the Hill and had like very distinct memories of what that was like. But then also, just the 80s in Providence, it was a fascinating time.
Oh my gosh. It's unbelievable. Even reading The Prince of Providence
Yes.
and books similar to that. But yeah,
Mhm.
Crime Town's a great example.
Yeah.
Like what a time that was. So Young Rich Widows is kind of giving Real Housewives vibes a little bit.
Truly. Like I am so excited for the Real Housewives of Rhode Island,
You're
obviously.
in the right place.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I cannot wait because I'm going to be like, if you want to do some prep work.
Yeah.
This is it, because it's like 4 women. There's a limo cat fight, champagne throwing scene. Like that's the level of camp we were talking about.
Yep, and that is definitely in some of the Real Housewives episodes. Maybe not for Rhode Island, but for some of the other cities, it's happened.
I have to believe there's going to be something thrown.
Sprinter van.
Yes.
And then what's Desperately Deadly
That's
Widows?
The sequel.
Oh,
they keep going.
Desperate Deadly Widows.
Desperate Deadly Widows.
I promise I can read.
No, it's a lot. Yeah, so they're back. And this one's very more like Newport-y. So we did a lot like a bougie Newport. I brought the girls into town. We went to Newport. We went to the yacht docks. And we went and we did a big tour of Doris Duke's Rough Point Mansion, which is gorgeous.
Truly.
And her energy, Doris Duke, just as a figure, is in the book a little bit. This sort of heiress with some skeletons in her closet, that's for sure. So we had a lot of fun. They're so Rhode Island, these books. I love it so much.
I can't wait to read them. Now, Vanessa, going back to The Bone Thief, you have a book tour and you have a launch event. So talk about all of that, please.
Please come hang out with me. And I've got a lot of events here. I mean, Charter Books, Wakefield Books. I'm doing an event with Loren Spears, who's the executive director of the Tamaqua Museum. An Unlikely Story, which is such a cool bookstore too. So Barnes and Noble, Warwick. I've got
That's
all
my
of it.
spot.
I love it.
My kids love it.
Sue is my bookseller friend there. I love her so much. So it's like I said, I love this part because I'm hanging out at bookstores for the rest of the month, and I'm doing basically, if there's a bookstore in Rhode Island, I'm probably going to be there. So please come hang out with me. I've got stickers, I've got swag, and I not only will talk about my books, but I love talking about whatever you're reading too.
Right now, can I tell you what I'm reading?
Please.
So actually, I just got done reading 3 Women, which is, I can't think of who it's by, but it has Rhode Island ties. So of course I'm a little bit unprepared, but it's 3 women who've been really just done dirty by certain men in their lives. And it's all based on true stories. And one of them is based in Newport. So 3 Women is what I read. And it was a difficult
Lisa
read.
Tato.
Yes. That's and then it was turned
and there's
into
a movie.
There's a show.
It was on
TV
show.
It was on Showtime or something. I have not watched it yet. But I didn't know it was a show until halfway through, and I thought, oh, now I can do what we were talking about, which is visualize the characters as real people. I love autobiographies.
Ooh, yes.
And right now I am reading John Stamos' autobiography.
I heard it's so good.
So it is so good. It reminds me of Matthew Perry's because it really, these people who you think are larger than life, and you grow up watching them and loving them, and they have such sad stories underneath it all.
Yeah.
And I do this thing where, because you always know there's a ghostwriter that's their name too.
Yeah.
Like they're always, with so-and-so.
Yeah.
I always imagine, okay, that was his part, but that's her part. Or that's his part and that's his part. Like I imagine how they collab sometimes. So I'm getting through the John Stamos autobiography right now. And my husband bought that for me because I'm a huge Full House fan. So
yes. I still have dreams that I'm on Full House.
Yeah, me too.
Like I'm like on the stage.
Yeah.
With
bowing with the Olsen twins.
Yes, with the twins. I'm always, because I watched it when I thought I was like, that was our peers at the time. Or
Stephanie, DJ.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine having DJ as a big sister? I just thought it would be the coolest. And Kimmy as my neighbor. Yeah. That's a deep sense memory for me. I mean, it's TGIF. I watched it every week.
I try to live every Friday like it was TGIF, like ABC vibes. So that's what I'm reading right now. And also now, because I don't really get to talk to authors a lot, do you agree or disagree that there's something about holding an actual book that is so special? I tried, I couldn't do a Kindle. I can't do electronics. There's something about the smell of a book that I just love so much.
Yes. I was actually I have these 2 books that are in a series, and like one feels different. Like the covers even feel different. There's such a tactile experience.
Can you hold it up right for the camera?
Oh, yeah. So like this one
that's Bone Thief.
feels a little bumpy, which I love.
Yeah.
This one is like a smoother experience. So I love like to have the book experience. These are like light and beachy, like just throw it in your bag.
Yes.
Which is so fun.
Throw it in the beach bag.
Which I love. But for me, part of it is like I choose how I consume books based on what I'm doing. So I do love audiobooks, not in my reading time, but in my, I'm doing the laundry, I'm doing the dishes, I'm on a dog walk time. So I wouldn't be reading a book normally in that time. So audiobooks are perfect because you get more reading in.
Yeah, you sure do.
And an ebook, I really do when I travel a lot because it is.
That's true.
Or of course, I still will buy books at the airport because I think that's so fun.
There is a treat about buying a book at an airport, and I don't know why. I only liken it to two things. When you hear a song you've heard a million times on the radio, there's something special about that, especially on 92 Pro FM, and also fountain soda at McDonald's. You can get Coke anywhere, but something hits different. Something hits different about buying a magazine or a book at an airport.
Oh, yeah, magazines too.
Yeah.
But just the magazine experience, every time one closes, it breaks my heart because I love them.
Me too.
There's just such a feeling of it, and it feels so special to hold it versus a scrolling second.
Yeah, because it just feels so impersonal.
Yeah,
and so that's why I'm glad to hear that you love of course, because you're an author, but you love that physical touch of a book. Vanessa, how can people find out more about you? How can people purchase The Bone Thief?
Yeah, so I'm chronically on Instagram.
Nice, same.
Yeah, so please it's Lillie is my last name, so it's spelled a little funny. So hang out with me on Instagram. On my website, I have all my tour dates. It's pinned on my Instagram too. I'm on Facebook, but I would love to meet people face to face. And I have so many stickers. Beaded bookmarks. I brought one for you.
Thank you.
My mom beaded them. She's like literally sending me photos of her hands, like looking warped from the beads, but that's very her. And so she's been beading these bookmarks because I love swag. I love a sticker. I even have some coasters.
A little takeaway.
I'm crazy. I love it. But I also do love the cover, so it's fun to give to people. So, that's a great place to just, if you can make it to an event, amazing. If not, I'm chronically online. Come say hi. I would love that too.
And are you already working on your next book?
Yeah, I'm working on 2 books right now. Oh. I'm working on one I'm pretty close to. It's a little different, it's a speculative thriller is what I'm calling it.
Ooh.
I'm calling it my sexy Da Vinci Code.
I love that.
My poor agent doesn't know what's going to hit her when she gets it.
A sexy Da Vinci
That's
Code.
What I call it. Yeah.
That's a good promo.
Yeah. It's
good tease.
I'm crossing my fingers that she likes it and we get to take it out and find a wonderful home for it. And then I have another Indigenous thriller idea that I've started that I'm sort of tinkering with. I call it, to figure out a plot, it's like a crock pot. I have to throw a whole bunch of things in there. So that one I'm calling The Cherokee House, and it's back in Oklahoma. What I'm really excited about it is my main character is a poker player on the run, and I love poker. I'm a big Texas Hold'em fan. So I'm excited to write a little bit of like a main character that's into poker, because I think poker people, I wouldn't say this is me, but I can see it creatively, which is the way they see the world is very strategic.
Yeah.
And I think writing a character who is that way will be a lot of fun. So I'm working on those. And actually the 3rd Widows book is out next year too.
Oh, fun.
So I'll be doing an 80s book tour. I might be bugging you again to come back.
Yes, please do.
The only caveat is we bring 80s gear and you have to 80s it up.
Oh, I'm all ladies in the 80s.
That's it.
Let's do it. I'm in it. Listen, I'm an 80s baby like you, so we'll have fun with that. Vanessa, this has been such a pleasure. I'm so happy you came on Real Talk Rhody.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm a super fan, and congrats on an awesome podcast.
Thank you.
It's so much fun to listen to. I'm so happy to be here.
And I'm so happy to have you here on Real Talk Rhody. Appreciate it.